My name is Cassie and I'm the founder of Fatco, where we use these guys to make this stuff. Let me explain. At Fatco, we specialize in making natural and organic skin and body care products, many of which contain tallow. It's nutrient dense and healing. It's extremely high in vitamins A, D, K, and E, all super important for skin health. It's natural, it's healthy, and it's sustainable.
The fact that people are saying, oh yeah, when you're finals MVP, you are now the best player on the planet, to me, that makes no sense whatsoever. I don't care if it's a week, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Who do we appreciate? LeBron James. That's who y'all gotta start appreciating. And you gotta stop disrespecting this man. Don't argue with me, argue with your mama. LeBron is top 2, and he ain't 2. If you got an issue with anything I'm saying, tough. It must suck to be delusional. Must suck to be delusional. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what it do, baby, as the kids say in the streets, it is your boy Pride. Welcome to another episode of the Prideful Takes podcast. We got a packed show for you in store. Pro Bowl rosters came out. Look, Tua Tagovailoa. That's right, Tagovailoa. Got an issue with it. Come see me. Okay? He's a starter. Big ups to him. Plenty of snubs, by the way. I'm not sure why, but we'll get to that list here in a few. And obviously, it is the season finale when it comes to the NFL in terms of the regular season. There's going to be a lot of players being sat down, which will determine kind of some of the winners, losers predictions that we will get into later. For example, one of the biggest ones, Lamar Jackson. He ain't playing because Ravens ain't really got much to play for when it comes to this last game of the year. So, but he is just one of many who are being sat down. But before we get into any of that, I do want to give some love to the NBA. There was a bunch of games yesterday. If you were bored yesterday, it's because you chose to. There were plenty of games, and here are just some of the scores. Pacers beat the bricks off the Hawks 150-116. Obviously, the best team in the league, the Boston Celtics, beat the Utah Jazz 126-96. Suns look like they're trying to get everything back on track, beating Miami Heat 113-97. The Lakers' woes continue as the Grizzlies continue to surge upwards. It's kind of ironic. Both teams trending opposite ways as Memphis beats LA 127-113. By the way, shout out to Ricky Rubio, man out here retiring after a buyout from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Big ups to him. It's kind of ironic. Every single youngster he kind of mentored became an all-star. So big ups to Ricky Rubio, a guy who really is very impactful. One of the guys I've actually enjoyed watching, just because the way he plays the game. It's not just about scoring. It's about everything else. And so I just kind of want to give some big ups to him. The Kings beat the Raptors in a very good game, actually, 135-130, even though the Raptors lost, kind of showing a little bit here and there. Andre says National Blowout Association. There were quite a few games that were blowouts. For example, Timberwolves 122-95 over the Houston Rockets. The Mavs 139-103 against Portland. There was a lot of blowouts. Pause. Just in case. Pause. A couple of the games I kind of wanted to touch on. One that actually made me laugh a lot. Swear it made me laugh. The Knicks versus Philly. The Knicks won 128-92. And to me, it's hilarious because Joel Embiid thought for some unknown reason he was going to play and he was going to, it was going to be an easy game. And New York kind of was stingy. New York really was stingy. It's adorable because, Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, 30 and 27 respectively. And then there's Kelly Oubre, who's at best. He had 15. Outside of them, nobody else hit double digits. So it goes Joel Embiid with 30. He's the 76ers highest scorer. Then Tyrese Maxey with 27. Then Kelly Oubre with 15. And then the next highest, you'll never guess how many points it was. 6 points. 6 points. What a time to be alive. I'm glad that's not my organization. So glad that's not my organization. Andre says the T-Wolves look good. Yeah, they are. And the main reason why the Timberwolves actually look good, multitude of reasons, actually. I think the biggest reason in based on how we've seen them, it's almost as if they're now officially playing through Anthony Edwards. And I think that sets a tone because now when they're focusing more on Anthony Edwards, it opens up the floor for everybody else. Now dog shit Rudy Gobert is not pretending he's an offensive threat. He's going to what he does best, just standing there, swatting a couple shots, and cleaning up. That's it. He's a French Clint Capella. Argue with your mama, not with me. But now that he's starting to play, and then if you really do look at this roster, this is a very, very, in my opinion, even roster. You got Mr. Slow-Mo himself, Kyle Anderson, who, granted, he's not there really for the points, but he's just there for the defense and for getting some boards. He's doing his job. Naz Reid gives you another big that you can kind of play through. Karl-Anthony Towns, of course, is still doing his thing, no debate, right? But if you really do look at this roster, it's really kind of even. It really is, outside from the occasional. Well, I don't want to say occasional because now it kind of seems like I'm kind of downplaying Anthony Edwards a lot, and I don't want that to pretend to be a theme. Let me not do that. But there are times where Anthony Edwards goes stupid from the floor, right? But on the average night when he's not going stupid, he's still giving you a very good outing. You still got multiple guys giving you double-digit figures. For example, just last night, Karl-Anthony Towns, Jaden McDaniels, Rudy Gobert, Anthony Edwards, and Naz Reid and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. That's what, 6 guys I just said in double digits? Like, they're not playing how they played last year. They're really not. Like, they're going officially through Ant, which I like. I like that a lot. I think he's way too good of a player. I thought so last year, but definitely now this year. He's way too good of a player for you to just be like, all right, let's just try to make him a spot shooter. No, like, they're officially playing through him. Karl-Anthony Towns is like, you know what? I'll take that. Because it's not like Karl-Anthony Towns is like an afterthought as well. He's still getting his. And then everybody, obviously, you got veterans like Mike Conley on that team, which is another very good guard. And, now, granted, I will say this, though. In the same breath, they are looking nice. I look at them the same way I looked at the Utah Jazz, what was it, like 3-4 years ago when they were the number 1 seed, and not a single soul on God's green earth cared. Not a single soul. For some unknown reason, not a single soul on God's green earth cared. And that's kind of where I'm at right now with this team. That's kind of where I am, where they're the number 1 seed. Great, but I don't know. I don't see this team making any type of legitimate impact come playoffs. I don't know. People say I'm a hater. I kind of am, though. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm an international hater. I'm changing my Twitter to that, so probably tomorrow. International hater. That's gonna be me. But let's talk about why everyone is really here for. The greatest franchise going today. We're about to hang up our millionth banner this year. The greatest team, the Boston Celtics, led by the best player on the planet. I'm going a little too crazy. But for sure, a top 10 player in Jason Tatum. For sure, a top 10. Man out here doing 39-5. Jason Tatum did last night against the Utah Jazz. By the way, for Utah, shout out Colin Sexton, by the way. I kind of feel a little bad for him. There have been multiple times where this team kind of looks dead in the water. And big ups to his hustle. Free Colin Sexton. I just kind of want to throw that out there. Just one time real quick. I've always liked Colin Sexton a lot, so I just kind of want to say free him. But Kristaps Porzingis, Tingus, giving the league his dingus, okay, is out here just chilling. He gave us a very casual 19. Jaylen Brown gave us a casual 13. By the way, no. Don't tell me to shut up. Don't say pride, move on. No. Shut up about Jaylen Brown having one bad game, because when the man was dropping 30, no one was saying nothing. So I just want the record to be clear on that. All right? Shut the fuck up. I mean it too, for the bottom of my heart, with all due disrespect. Shut the fuck up. I hate you. Okay? But we're not going to sit here and pretend, yes, pretend that Jaylen Brown was not just going bonkers last week. So let me just throw that out there. Sick of the slander and the stupidity. Sick of that. Derek White. And by the way, another thing, Drew Holiday. People are kind of mad about him. You do realize we got Drew Holiday for the playoffs, right? Just asking for a friend. I'm just asking for a friend. I don't know. People are, butthurt right now. I don't know what time to be alive. But we're just on our way to our next banner. Just going to shit on the league. That's it. You know, you know what? Nah. You know what we're going to do? We'll lose a couple to make it interesting. Just that way we give you bums something to talk about. Another game, I don't know if you guys had watched this one, but I genuinely believed. I was watching a lot of them. And the one that it kind of was hard for me to flick away from, genuinely, was the Nuggets and the Magic. The Magic, I don't know what happened, but the Magic all of a sudden are a legitimate team. Now, I don't think they're going to win the ring. I don't think they're going to go far. Probably second round is probably where they're going to get. Which, hey, from a team that didn't even make the play-in last year to being a top, like going 20-15 right now, big ups to them. And it's crazy. And by the way, Andre, I will answer about your West in 1 second, but I had to put this up there. Paulo is like that, and then some, and more. Paulo Banchero, this kid is and I knew this kid was, I think the consensus was a lot of people thought he was going to be great. I think a lot of people. But the problem was a lot of people fell off his bandwagon last year with the inefficiency. I think that's kind of what a lot of people were, for a lack of a better word, upset with him about. And for me, I think he's doing way better with the efficiency. I really do. Granted, could he do better? For sure. And I don't even think that's a debate at all. But I'm looking at a kid from last year. I think for like the beginning of the year, I think he was shooting like 37%. Went on a nice stretch, which brought him up to 42. Now he's shooting, I think it's like 46. Let me double check that. Yep, right now he's 46% from the floor, which, again, is solid. It's very solid. But yes, Paulo was him because every time Orlando needed a bucket. Because remember, if you watch this game, you knew Orlando was down at one point, I think by like 18. I think by like at one point they were down like 18. And I think, yeah, heading into heading into halftime, they were down a lot. And all of a sudden, they started playing very well. Obviously, they were focusing more through Paulo. But at the same time, I also saw something from – I'm not a fan of this guy, Cole Anthony, at all. I'm not a fan of him. But, every once in a while, he gives you a very good game. Every once in a while. And last night was one of those. He gave you 23. Jalen Suggs, which is a kid who I like, but I've kind of been a little fearful of going all in on him. And my issue is really the fact that last year I saw promise. This year, it seems like he's taking a step back. Remember what I said about Paulo, about the efficiency? How last year he struggled, but this year he's getting better. Now, flip that, and you got Jalen Suggs. I'm looking at a kid who last year, 45%, which – I'm sorry. I lied. It's not Jalen Suggs I'm talking about. I'm talking about somebody completely different. I had a brain fart. But my issue with Jalen Suggs, it wasn't offense. It was the defense. And it's more along the lines of like him kind of tuning out a little bit. And it kind of sucks because when they got him, I think they drafted him 2 years ago. He did have kind of a reputation of, I'm not going to sit here and say he was a ball stopper, but Buddy at least went out there, and he would throw his effort out there. So, but it's a little disappointing. But hey, if he's getting better offensively, hey, who's really going to bother him? Andre, I'm gonna get to your other question in a second, but first, right now, who do I have number one in the West? I probably still have Denver. The second would be probably the Timberwolves. And then 3 down, it's so hard. It's so because no one has shown me anything in terms of, man, like I said, outside of those 2 teams. And if you want to put Timberwolves 1, like I said, it is what it is. I'm putting the Nuggets 1. But other than those 2 teams, there has not been any other team that makes me go in the West, that makes me go, whoa. Like before the season started, I had a lot of faith in the Lakers, and they've been selling. Okay. The Grizzlies have been selling. Obviously, they didn't have John Morant. Now that they got John Morant, they are getting better. They are getting better, right? So I kind of want to see how far they can take it. Let's give them a little bit of time. Golden State, I said before the season, I think that they're washed. Because now you have to depend solely, 100% on Steph, and it's very hard to sustain that over the course of the season. Clay is getting far too inconsistent. Chris Paul he has his moments where he's trying to run the second unit, but then when they put him out there with the first unit, he kind of seems out of place. Draymond finally took a break from the NBA to go pursue his true passion in the UFC, so big ups to him. Phoenix, very disappointing, but again, that really comes from the injuries. But what do you expect when your big 3 is just injury riddled, and that's it? Dallas, I thought Dallas was going to be a middle of the pack team, and that's kind of where they are right now. Sacramento feels like they have taken a little bit of a step back. The Clippers, I mean, cool. I mean, if I'm not allowed to choose the Timberwolves and the Nuggets, then my third team, if you're going to make me pick one, I'll say the Thunder. Because the Thunder have been, in my opinion, the biggest surprise in the West by far. I think they're probably the second biggest surprise all year. I still think that the biggest surprise honor has to go to Orlando. But I will say, you know what? I'm gonna put them at 3. I'm gonna put the Thunder at 3, just because honestly they do deserve it, and I think you can make an argument that they're 2. So I'll put the Nuggets 1, Timberwolves 2, and then I'll put the Thunder 3. But 4 down is just I don't see anybody that's kind of making me go, oh wow, they like that, And I don't see any of these teams right now beating the Nuggets in a 7-game series. You're right. And I'll be honest with you, I think the only team that has a chance to go game for game with the Nuggets right now is the Celtics. I think that's really the only team. And against the Celtics, that's for sure going 7. For sure. Ain't no gentleman sweep. Ain't none of that. It's for sure going 7. Now, I'm a Celtics fan, so I'm going to rock out with my team. But the reality is, boy, it's going to be tough. But other than that, in the West, I don't see anybody hanging 7. And in the entire NBA, again, the only other team I can think of right now would be Boston. Because if we're going to take a look over at the East, who could beat Denver in a 7-game series? Milwaukee, for sure can't. For sure they can't. Philly's too inconsistent. Indiana, sure, listen, they're scrappy. They're scrappy guys. That's cool and all. But just being scrappy won't win you. They'll probably win you a game against the Nuggets, but nothing more than that. Miami, no. Orlando, no. Cleveland, no. I think they hit their peak. I think it was last year. No. Knicks, no. Nets, Bulls, no. Like, there's really the only team I really can see going a minimum 7 is Boston. And like I said, I'm going to pick Boston because that's my team. But, then Andre says, really think the Rockets should have traded up for Paulo last year. I'll be honest. I thought they were going to. I don't know. I genuinely thought they were going to trade up to get Paulo because I thought Paulo and Jalen Green would have been a great 1-2 punch. I think, obviously, then getting Ime this year, because obviously getting Ime this year made this team, Houston, way better. And I genuinely believe they were going to do that. I genuinely did. But at the same time, the Rockets could have done everything in their power to try to trade up. I also do think Orlando saw their man, because remember, the talk around Orlando was, man, if we get this kid, give him 3 to 5 years, and man, he's a big man, he'll be like our Shaq. Like, there was a lot of that talk, not only in the fan base, but in the front office too. So for me, it's like, yes, Andre, I agree with you to a point, because I thought the Rockets were going to try, but the reality is the Rockets could try until they're blue in the face. They could have kept on picking up the phone, going bonkers. But the reality of the situation, if the Orlando Magic see their man and don't want to trade, there's nothing anybody can do. It's like a couple years ago in the NFL when the Jags had the number 1 pick. Anybody could have called. Anybody. They saw their man in Trevor Lawrence. They saw their man in Sunshine and said, no, we don't care. And because they had that they were that convinced and had that much conviction, there was nothing anybody could have done. And I think that's how it was with Orlando. Orlando bet big on that on their guy, that being Paulo. And so far, it's paying dividends. It's paying a great amount of dividends. So they clearly made the right choice. They clearly made the right choice. So big ups to them, because, like I said, I for sure thought moves were going to be made, but they, Orlando doubled down. They got their man. Big ups to them. Another game, Grizzlies, right? Because I want to talk about both teams real quick. So the Grizzlies beat the Lakers 127-113. And obviously, LeBron James, sorry, that's his middle name. He obviously, this old man out here dropping 32 to lose, and the media want to ask him questions, right? But John Morant had a solid game. We finally saw from Jaren Jackson Jr. what everyone has been waiting all year to see. Man out here, 39. He almost had a double-double, 31 points with 9 rebounds. This is the Jaren Jackson everyone expected. And by the way, shout out Marcus Smart with dropping 29. But this is the Jaren Jackson Jr. everybody was hoping they would see. And this is a team that is, and when I say this, I'm talking to the Grizzlies about the Grizzlies. They're 6-4 in their last 10. They seem like they're getting a little bit more on track. Right now, they're currently 12-23. I do remember I had a conversation I think it was last week or the week before last, that the Grizzlies were going to have to play very, very elite basketball to get into the play-in. So that way they would have an opportunity. And even in the losses, I believe this team still can make it. If John Morant was suspended, this could potentially be a top 4 seed. Potentially. That's the kind of energy that they play with, and the fire and the execution. Because again, they got Marcus Smart, Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane, and John Morant. Those 4 guys right there are very, very good players that can help lead you. And we've seen them do it before. We've seen Desmond Bane go sick when John Morant can't get it done. We've seen Marcus Smart, especially more in the Celtics days, when there's moments where you need him to step up and he can go on stretches. Jaren Jackson Jr., yeah, we haven't seen it this year, but last year, man was going stupid. It was beyond stupid, right? And obviously, John Morant is John Morant. So I do have some optimism. I am optimistic when I'm looking at the Memphis Grizzlies. One team that I am not so optimistic about, though, is the Lakers. I'm looking at a team right now that is just – they're just at best now. And like I said, I thought the Lakers was going to rival the Denver Nuggets. I thought they really had a lot of good stuff. I really did, right? Obviously, you still got LeBron James, who's still playing MVP caliber basketball. I thought this would be the year because, in my opinion, this is really Anthony Davis's last year to kind of prove he could still be that guy And for the most part, outside a couple injuries here and there, but for the most part, AD's doing his thing, right? Last night, Braun drops 32, AD drops 31. You still got Austin Reeves, who I think I don't want to say he shouldn't be starting because I feel like that's making it seem like he's a bum. But what I've noticed about Austin Reeves, as the sixth man, for some reason he just thrives and he looks more comfortable. I don't know why, but he gave you a respectable 19 and 12, nice double-double, right? 19 points, 12 assists. But the reality is I'm looking at this team and it's like, look, both LeBron and Anthony Davis have to play at an all-time elite level for them to just have a chance. And that's kind of when your two best players have to constantly do that just to lose by double digits. It's very unfortunate. And I will say this: I think the Lakers right now are. I know it's still kind of early, but I think they're done. I'm comfortable in saying that they're done, that they're washed. It is what it is. Go ahead, fight for a play and make the playoffs, get bounced in the first. It's unfortunate, but the way they're playing just right now shows me that they don't really they don't deserve to be in the play-in at all. I'm looking at other teams that deserve it far more. And like I said, with the downfall of the Lakers, eventually, I mean, Golden State might end up hitting a downfall too. I mean, this is kind of it's going to parlay what I was saying earlier. There's right now the door is wide open for the Memphis Grizzlies, and like I said, I'm not gonna say I feel bad. I don't feel bad. I really don't, because fuck the Lakers, except for LeBron. Last game, Bulls beat the Hornets 104-91. Now the reason why I want to talk about this game is Zach LaVine came back. Yeah, obviously he played off the bench, but he played 30 minutes, right? And Kobe White still had to start nod, right? They said that they were going to bring back Zach LaVine. He's going to come off the bench just to kind of see how he feels and all that stuff. And I'll be honest here. I might keep Zach LaVine coming off the bench for the rest of the year. Before Zach LaVine went out, man was playing horrible basketball. I think that's kind of just the reality. Man was playing horrible to the point that trade talks about Zach LaVine were at its highest that it's pretty much ever been with him. Like, they were at his highest to the point that I genuinely believe that this kid was going to be traded like that. But I'm also looking at it from, there he is. Yo, what's cracking up?
Man, what's good, man? Sorry about the delay, man.
No, I'm just talking about real quick about the Chicago Bulls.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm bugging. Because Zach LaVine came back last night.
That's right.
They had him come off the bench because they were like, we want to make sure you're okay.
Yeah, want to work the way back in.
Yeah, they gave him 30 minutes. And this is probably the most energetic I've seen the Bulls with Zach LaVine. And if I'm crazy, I'm crazy. But I genuinely wholeheartedly believe that Zach LaVine should probably stay coming off the bench. Maybe give it like another 2 weeks. Just to kind of see how it's going, see how everyone feels, all that stuff. Because Kobe White has been playing like he deserves to be in the starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And everyone has been like, remember, Zach LaVine was not playing well before he got hurt. Now, obviously, I know it's his first game. But the reality is I'm looking at it like, let's ride this out for 2 weeks. Because if we're doing this for 2 weeks and we're winning, if I'm the Bulls, I for sure would want to keep that going because they're 10th right now. So they're on the verge of being bounced out of the play-in. I say Zach LaVine should stay on the bench for a minimum of 2 weeks. Not because of his injury, but because I think it'll help the Bulls more. Am I crazy?
Nah, I mean, you're gonna go with the people who've been, who's been available to play, and it's another sign of a change in the guard, where they're possibly entertaining get him up out of there for who will want to take on the money. You know, so I mean, that's how I didn't even know he came off the bench last night. Really, I was so caught up in the Pacers and what my Knicks did last night. You know what I'm saying?
But
But
I gave you a little bit of props. I gave you a little bit of props. But yeah, he came off the bench, and
yeah.
like I said, it was interesting for him. So let me ask you another question, because this is something that you and I, we got to bite the bullet on this one.
All right.
In the preseason, we thought the Lakers were going to be rivaling the Nuggets for the top seed in the West. We thought that this roster was going to perform well, and I'm ready to say the Lakers are washed. I'm ready to say that they're washed. They're not going to make the play-in. Am like, you with me, or are you still holding out hope for the Lakers right now?
It's not looking good.
Not at all.
But I really don't know now. I'm really and that's just being and that's not being like throwing a cheap shot at him. It's not a slight, but I don't understand it. Where's Gabe Vincent at?
Listen, I told people this a lot, bro. Gabe Vincent was not good. He had one good year, and now everyone's pretending like that's him. But like, he's not him. It's not to the point that he's not playing a lot, but it's because he's not good. He's just not good. There's plenty of more options. My thing is this: both AD and LeBron both dropped, AD dropped 31, Bron dropped 32. They did that, Bron playing 39 minutes, AD playing 41, and they lose by double digits. If you need your two best players to play at an all-time great type of, performances constantly, that's going to wear you out. It is going to wear you out. And I thought this roster would do better.
I did too.
And listen, big ups to Austin Reeves, because 1 minute they start him, 1 minute he comes off the bench, and he gives it his all no matter what. So big ups to him. But Cam Reddish giving me 8 points in 32 minutes, and he had multiple opportunities.
Good defense, and he shot the three. Maybe not of lately. He ain't been playing good, But for the most part, he has played well this season. But like Cam Reddish, where are you at?
I'm saying Cam Reddish,
Vanderbilt.
Yeah, and that's the part that blew my mind, because I thought Vanderbilt would eat.
Yeah, Christian Wood's been playing good this year too.
Oh yeah, he been solid.
Yeah, he been solid. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't even think Jackson Hayes get much playing time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, he's not.
Matter of fact, they're playing Christie. What's his name? Max Christie. That's his name.
Yep.
They're playing him more. Yeah, they're playing him more.
Wow.
I don't know, man. But I'm gonna tell you one thing: Memphis is on his way, and Lakers might want to get together before they find themselves outside that top 10, man. Because it's possible. The West deep. It's possible.
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, me personally, because I was looking at it earlier, and the way Golden State's kind of falling a little bit, the Lakers right now are 11th. Like, they're out of the top 10 completely.
Yeah.
Houston's probably going to fall down pretty soon. Like, right now for Memphis, they got an opportunity. They really do. They got an opportunity to at least make the play-in, to make some sort of noise, to kind of salvage it. Because if you look at their roster's not bad. Their roster's really not bad. It's just when you're missing your best player, it sucks. Because now you're kind of winging it for 25 games. But before we move on, I kind of want to get you two things from you. First of all,
okay,
your next one. Go ahead, have your moment.
same time. You know what I'm saying? This ain't NBA Live 95. When I had all the players that I played. You know, I mean, Hartstein, man, just been balling.
Man, big ups to him. He gave you a solid. He gave you a very solid line. 17, 6, and 5. So big ups to him.
Hey, look, he about to get paid or something. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's gonna pay him.
So
He about to get paid, man.
for sure,
But
for sure.
all around, it was. Only thing I don't like about money is I don't care who we playing. We can be playing the school of the deaf and blind. Third quarters, we always struggle, man.
Mm-hmm.
It don't matter what's going on. We come out and turn the ball over. And
See, you guys are lucky because in the third quarter, while you guys struggled, the 76ers struggled too.
yeah,
So
we
that's
just had
kind of
enough lead.
yeah. So that's
Yeah,
kind of what
yeah,
ended up kind of making you guys go, okay, we're fine. Because in the fourth quarter, you guys doubled them.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you guys
Yeah,
was
we played.
cooking.
We played good, man. It was a good night of basketball. I like with Indiana. 50 assists as a team. Only the 14 in NBA history. 50 assists.
You love that. You love that. Because the way
Then
and it was
Halliburton
weird because
had.
you guys, I don't know what it was, but there was a lot of ball movement going around. And I was just like, what you doing over there? Y'all doing
It's a
okay?
honeymoon stages. Are you talking about for us or for
For
them?
y'all, for you guys, I said, what's
This
going
is
on?
hey, and this is what I told my homie last night. Cause like I told you before, he's a Knicks fanatic. I told him, I said, man, that's just the honeymoon stages. That's all it is. Everybody nice. Wait the playoff time come around.
True, true.
Let's see what you had that same ball movement is.
Well, you're
But
right,
you
you're right.
know, but maybe they have a type of chemistry that we don't know about, and maybe that's gonna be the style, moving the ball around and finding the open man. Now sometimes you can move it around too much, a tad bit too much.
True.
That end of the bargain for the Senators. And it's one game. They can come back to New York and blow us out and beat us by 36 the same damn way. So I mean, it's the NBA. It's gonna
Mm-hmm.
be, you're gonna have games like that, but it meant a lot to us to be able to do that.
Um, Lauren Markkinen, I don't know if you know, but the Utah Jazz are basically like, we're gonna get rid of everyone. And basically their best player right now, Lauren Markkinen, is garnering a lot of attention. Um,
Yeah.
obviously, right now, listen, he's 26 years old, 23 and 8, and he's shooting 48, almost 49% from the floor. Me personally, hear me out now. Just take this walk with me. Take my hand, come with me. Let's take this walk. How amazing would he look in Celtic green? Ooh! Let's stack the deck. Come on, let's stack the deck. You give me Lauren Markkinen. I'll give you, I don't know, a couple bucks. Okay? I'll throw you a nickel. It's a freshly minted nickel. In like 2,000 years, it will be expensive. But just, let me just throw you a nickel. Swing him over here. Okay? That's just me being the Celtic fan, right? Now, me being a legit basketball person who understands the game, you tell me he won't fit with OKC. You tell me he won't fit with OKC. Tell me he won't fit with
I
OKC.
I can see it, but who you gonna give up for him?
Oh,
When you
you
got
go.
pick.
Yeah, I was about to say they got a plethora of picks, so
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
give.
They got more picks than us.
Yeah, you can give up some of those picks, still have enough. And remember, Lauren Markkinen is only 26 years of age. You're not trading for a veteran that's like 34, 35 years old. You're not trading for that. You're trading for a guy who, age-wise, still fits what you're trying to build.
Okay, so is this a right now move or this a long term move?
For sure, it'd be long. I think it's both. Because
How you gonna sign everybody?
you said what?
How you gonna sign everybody?
What you mean sign
Money.
everybody?
Money. You still got check. You gonna have to sign in a couple years.
I mean, but hold on, Ron. You're acting like you're making. You got to make him the highest paid player, though. So listen,
I'm saying you got other players. I'm talking about the other players on the team.
There's only 2 players you really got to pay, like stupid money. It's
Of course.
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and in a couple years is going to be Chet Holmgren. Outside of those 2, there's nobody on this roster that you got to pay a stupid amount of money to.
I'm just gonna say this: you make a great point, but if Draymond Green can get $100 million, hey, come on now. I'm just saying, can't keep everybody.
I mean, yeah, okay, but the guys that they would sacrifice, though, let me see.
That move would be a right now move. Nope, that would be right now.
But you're not gonna trade for Laurie if you're OKC. You're not gonna trade him and let him walk.
Nah, you're not gonna do that. But what I'm saying, that's a right now move, though. That's a right now.
But that's what I'm saying. It's both because yes, it'll be for the right now. But I guarantee you, if they do it, they immediately extend him, and OKC is going to be a threat for the next 5 to 7 years.
You know what?
Obviously, depending on what they do with the draft picks and all that stuff.
They would do that, and they would pay the luxury tax because they seen what happened last time and they didn't. So you're right, they would. Yeah. You learn from your lesson.
Listen, if I'm OKC, I'm going to pay a little bit of extra luxury tax. When you pay it, remember, you're not paying that luxury tax now.
That's right.
Because I think Shea is already under contract for like what next 2 years.
Yeah. Shea got his. Dort got his.
Yeah, Dort got they all got theirs. So basically, when you go and get Laurie, you're gonna pay Laurie.
Like that, but you know.
And all
Shea is. I think Shea's close.
Probably. Yeah, he probably is closer. Yeah, he probably is. Because I know eventually, like if you go and get Laurie, you extend him right now, you're good for like 2-3 years. You're good. And you might have to end up paying Shea again.
Yeah.
But hey, you'll do that, and then you give Chet a little something. I mean, and at the same time, that's also, I don't think if you go and get Laurie, I don't think you're going to break the bank with him. I think you'll pay him something respectable.
Yeah, I ain't gonna break the bank. Nah, it won't be that. Nah.
You know what I mean? So in terms of the luxury, I don't think they'll have to get to that point at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I just thought about something, man.
Let me hear
it. Isn't it a sad thing when just put yourself to the side, all right? Because I know where you're gonna go when I say this. All right, put yourself to the side. Listen. Isn't it a shame to watch Golden State scrap to beat Detroit?
Oh, it was hilarious. It was hilarious. I'll be honest with you. It was by far the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And honestly, the reason why for me it was so funny, there was a moment where Steph had his, I forgot, I think it might have been Cade shooting free throws. Steph had his hand on his hips, and he's just looking around like, fuck this place, man. Like, he literally had that look on his face, like, I don't want to be here anymore, yo. Like, it really was wild. Like,
hey, think about this, Lil. What's
you said what, Unc?
I said, let's get Steph a new home. What's a great trade destination for him? I like Miami for him, man.
Nah. Because if you do that, they're going to want Jimmy Butler. Yeah, they're for sure going to want Jimmy Butler.
But then he can't go nowhere then.
Nah, you want to you know where would be a very good spot for him?
What's it?
It's a spot where they do need a legitimate guard.
Mm-hmm.
They're winning now. They could use an extra veteran, and Steph could make a phenomenal 1-2 punch with one of the shining, brightest young bigs in the game. Let's send him over to Orlando. Steph and Paulo 1-2 pick. Yo, if he's going sick with Draymond Green in his pick and roll, with Andrew Bogut, imagine the pick and rolls with Steph and Paulo. Oh my Lord. Oh God. Now the thing that sucks with it though, this is kind of why I'm kind of doing a little bit of fantasy. They don't have that much to give up for him.
This is what you do. Man, hey, the dude, what, he 34, 35?
Mm-hmm.
His style of play allows him to play stronger at least another damn like 2.5, 3 years. All right.
And that's him. That's him being the primary guy. He could
Yeah,
probably
that's what I'm saying,
still give another 5 years as just a shooter.
So, Cole and Wendell Carter and 5 first rounders. Let's go.
I wouldn't do 5 now. Hold on now. Hold on now. All right, I was with you till you said 5. That's a little scary right there, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's scary.
Hey, we talking about top 10 players, man. You gotta give us up, man. You gotta give us up.
But yeah, I'm good with giving up Anthony Cole. I'm good with that. Jalen Suggs. That kind of hurts a little bit, but no problem. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's done.
I have no problem with that one. The issue I really have, though, 2. Matter of fact, how about this? 2 first rounders, 2 first rounders, and a second rounder. That way, they're still getting picks, right? They're still getting their picks, and then we're giving you our picks when we still got Steph we still got relatively peak Steph. So by the time he starts going down, we still got some trade picks that we can use. And then Golden State got the trade picks they can use now to kind of replenish themselves.
Okay.
I think 3 is a nice way meeting in the middle. Give you those players 2 first rounders and a second. We'll do that. Boom. We good. Because man, Steph.
You say Miami. I said Miami. You said.
That's the thing with Miami, though. If Miami does it, they're gonna have to give up Jimmy Butler because they don't got draft picks like that, do they? Let me see. Let me see if they got. Because I genuinely don't think they really got draft picks like that.
Why is Charlotte 8-25? What's going on in the Queen City?
Man, Charlotte is ass. Charlotte is
ass.
Charlotte is doo-doo in the butt.
Yeah.
So, let me see where.
God, man.
So Miami, Miami. So this year, Miami only got a second round pick.
They can't bust no move.
That's what I'm saying. Like they don't like. Oh my! Wait, hold on. Yo, Orlando don't got a first round pick either. Yeah, Orlando ain't got a first round pick either. That's crazy. I thought Orlando had one.
I'm gonna go outside and see my sitting on work better, man. Cause this is not what I thought it was gonna be.
I do think. But nah, I don't know, man. I mean, look, for me, for Steph, I mean, the reality is what also makes it hard is just the fact that you need to make sure that wherever you send them, they got some good stuff to give back to you. And the reality is I don't think there's really a team that's kind of got enough to give to them.
That's right, yeah.
Golden State feeling like, man, we kind of lost a little bit here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless Golden State just says, you know what, Steph, we'll do you a favor. Where do you want to go? I think that's really the only situation that I could possibly imagine that makes them go, okay, we'll do that. But I don't think they'll want to trade Steph, But, like I said, to trade Steph, it's kind of too messy right now. It'll be too messy to trade Steph. But better than the most.
Ain't nowhere for them to go.
All right. So
Phoenix for Bradley Beal.
You said what? Man, Man said Bradley. He said, no way. No. No one's trading for Bradley Beal right now. Not right now. That man is too injury prone, bro.
He don't miss that many games.
That's what I'm saying. He injury prone right now. No one's gonna.
God dang, man.
Man, if he wasn't injury prone, if he wasn't missing so many games, that would have been a good one. But no, man's borderline crippled right now. All right, the Pro Bowl roster dropped, right? Tua Tagovailoa starting for the AFC. Good. Why Patrick Mahomes is in it? That's crazy to me. But hey, he walks cool, so I guess we got to put him in there. Myles Garrett is starting defensive end for the AFC, which big ups to him because he's been having a heck of a year. Same thing with TJ Watt getting the start and nod. Sauce Gardner and Patrick Surtain are both getting starts. And that is obviously the AFC. If we take a look over at the NFC, by the grace of God, somehow Dak Prescott made it, and even worse, Brock Purdy is starting. So the AFC is mopping the floor with the NFC. Christian McCaffrey gets a start. So does George Kittle. At center, Jason Kelsey, who was voted as the sexiest man in America. So I guess I got to gain more weight. Fred Warner gets the start and nod, and inside middle linebacker, Buda Baker, who we'll talk about that one in a few minutes. He somehow gets the start and nod. So I went to NFL.com, right? And they do this thing where they kind of give you their top 10 players who they think was snubbed from the All-Star. Or I'm sorry, I said All-Star. Got basketball in the mind. But snubbed from the Pro Bowl. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you their list. I'm going to read you the reasons why. Right? And then you tell me whether or not you agree with them or not. Before we get into that, there are some honorable mentions, and these are some of the names that are just outside the top 10. Travis Etienne just was right outside the top 10. Jared Goff, CJ Stroud was right outside the top 10. TJ Hawkinson for the Vikings, he was outside the top 10. Same thing with Jalen Hurts, CJ Mosley, Demario Davis, and Jake Elliott. These are just some of the guys that were out there. Same with DJ Moore from Chicago. So if there are some names you don't hear, it's just because they're right outside the top 10. So here's number 10. Dustin Hopkins. He's the kicker for Cleveland. And this is kind of what they wrote for him. Let's shoehorn a kicker into our list to acknowledge all three faces of the game. Justin Kicker is the best ever at his position. Or Justin Tucker is the best ever at his position. But Tucker's spot on the roster this year feels more like an honorary inclusion for a down year for an all-time great. Hopkins was money until suffering a hamstring injury on Christmas Eve. The Browns booter nailed 91.7% of 36 attempts this season. Most importantly, he went 8 for 8 from 50-plus yards with a career long of 58. Hopkins, 6.6 field goals made over expected, trust only Brandon Aubrey, 8.5, and Matt Prater, 6.8 per next-gen stats. So basically what they're saying, they want to replace Dustin Hopkins with Justin Tucker. Or take out Justin Tucker, put in Dustin Hopkins. You agree, disagree, or it doesn't matter to you? Take that as it doesn't matter. That's how I take it.
Hey, Nep.
Oh, there you go. You hear me?
Yeah, man, my phone keep. It's my phone keep doing that, man. I ain't heard too much of what you said.
So they basically want to put a different kicker in there, Dustin Hopkins over Justin Tucker. He's the kicker.
I mean, if he earned the right to be there, I mean, if his numbers are better, we ain't just going by name and past performance. I mean, I don't see no problem with it.
Yeah, that's kind of. I mean, I have the same thing, but the only reason why, and there's I think like two other players on this list, and I'm gonna say the same thing for. I understand why, because of an injury, because he did have a hamstring injury. So so they probably don't really want to kind of force it. So I do kind of get that one. Number 9 was Bradley Chubb. And it's me all right then. So number 9, Bradley Chubb. This is the reason. Chubbs could be a placeholder for a handful of Pro Bowl worthy Dolphins defenders. Jalen Phillips was on path to a career high in sacks before torn Achilles ended the season in November. Javian Holiday probably would be an all-star, made the all-star roster if he played the entire season. Christian Wilkins and Zach Seiler continue to eat the middle. Both are among top 11 in defensive tackles with 50-plus pressures. So here's the thing with Bradley Chubb. Remember what I said about Dustin Hopkins? Same thing, all right? He literally just got hurt. And if I'm mistaken, I think it was a torn ACL. He's got 22 quarterback hits and 6 forced fumbles. What a menace. 78, and he's got 78 QB pressures, which is 7th. And nah, bro. Torn ACL is a tough way to go. But honestly, like I said, for Bradley Chubb, that's really the only reason why I wouldn't consider it a snub. Because if he had not torn his ACL, I think he 100% would have. I think he would have been there. I think he would have started. I don't. It's hard for me to believe that the year he was having, you just let him. Oh, whatever. We don't care now. I doubt that. I think the reason why he's not playing, obviously, the torn ACL has everything to do with it. So I feel bad for the guy, but for me, no snub. And like I said, it's only a no snub just because he got hurt. Because like I said, if he was healthy, he would have been starting. Number 8, Derek Brown, defensive tackle for the Carolina Panthers. Here is what NFL.com says about him being a snub. In a woeful season, Derek Brown stood out as a bright spot for Carolina. Pass rushers get the headlines, but run stuffers deserve love too. This behemoth gobbled up 96 tackles on the season, too shy of the single-season mark for a defensive lineman set by Christian Wilkins last year, including 6 for loss. Brown's 74 stops are 10 more than the next closest at his position per next-gen stats. A stop rate of 8.8% is also tops among defensive tackles with at least 500 snaps. He might only have 1 sack, but he's not a stiff in the pass rush department either, generating 31 quarterback pressures and a career-high 13 quarterback hits from the inside. Brown has also batted 6 passes per Pro Football Focus, second most among defensive tackles. There's a lot of bad in Carolina this season, but Brown has been excellent. This for sure to me has been a snub, and it's not even close. And I think the last sentence really does sum up why I think it's a snub. There's been a lot of Carolina bad this season, and that is kind of why I feel bad for some players. There are some players who play on a bad team, and because they don't have that household name, doesn't really get looked at. And it really is a shame. And one of the there's some the anti Derek Brown stuff where he only has 1 sack. Well, the reality is he's there because he's a run stopper, and he stops the run. And sure, he doesn't get the sacks, but again, he's getting the hits, he's getting the pressure, he's doing his part. So, in my opinion, 100%, I would have had Derek Brown in there. And like I said, I genuinely do feel, I do feel bad for him because, again, especially when you're a defensive tackle, you're in the trenches, they don't really like to give you that much props, and I feel bad. So, I feel for the guy, but I'm also looking at it from the perspective of, I don't really care what team you're on. For me, it's more along the lines of what are you doing for me? And when I'm looking at a guy, like they said, he is literally the only bright spot in the entirety of the team that is the Carolina Panthers. So no, I for sure don't think He should just be watching the game. In terms of who to replace him with, I probably would drop Javon Hargrave from the Niners. I probably would drop him because Aaron Donald. I mean, for me, Aaron Donald, Dexter Lawrence, they haven't done anything bad enough to kind of take them off. So that leaves just one man. So, but number 7, the LA Rams guard Kevin Dotson. This is what NFL.com said. The Rams' August trade for Dotson was low-key one of the best moves of 2023. After struggling in Pittsburgh, the guard stabilizer was a major issue for LA last season, paving Kyren Williams' path to the Pro Bowl. True. Dotson proved the perfect fit for how Sean McVay wanted to run things in 2023. It's funny how talent shines in different surroundings. The 27-year-old guard was also a stellar blocker in front of Matthew Stafford, allowing just 7 quarterback hits, 3 of which came against the Ravens' 4th-ranked defense. 3 Rams skilled players, Stafford, Williams, and Puka Nacua, all are Pro Bowl nods, and those probably won't happen without LA finding stability along the offensive line. And honestly, in my opinion, yes. That is, you can give Puka Nacua, Stafford, and Kyren Williams. You guys can give them that love, and I'm with that, no debate, right? But the reality is that there's snubs where a guy's getting screwed, but there's also not room for everybody, and that's why I think this is one of those situations where for the guard situation, he has to beat Zach Martin from the Dallas Cowboys, Chris Lindstrom from the Atlanta Falcons, and Landon Dickerson from the Philadelphia Eagles, which I think is very hard. Now, if you want to take Chris Lindstrom out, okay, sure. I personally think that's a reach. I don't think this is just a case of a guy having a very, very, very good year, but there's just not enough room for him at all. So I don't think this one was a snub at all. Number 6, Amon-Ra St. Brown. This is the reasoning. Earning a spot as a wideout is a tough nut to crack, but the Sun God deserves praise for helping spearhead the line to turn around. St. Brown is 5th in the NFL with 1,371 receiving yards and is tied for 2nd with 112 catches and is tied for 5th with 9 receiving touchdowns. His 91.4 yards per game ranked 5th most, and his 70 first downs are tied for 3rd amongst pass catchers. Whenever Jared Goff needs a play, odds are he's targeting St. Brown, and odds are St. Brown will convert. The 2021 4th-round pick owns the ability to create space, plus the vice grip hands to catch everything zipped his way. St. Brown is a complete package. So I do like that one. But here is the I don't want to say sad. I don't want to say sad because now that's kind of being mean. But again, let's take a little look at the wide receivers. Because again, it's not. You got to be careful when you say snub. So here is the National League. Still scrolling. Every time I switch pages, it always does this. Okay, so here's the wide receivers that Amon-Ra St. Brown was up against. CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown, Mike Evans, Puka Nacua. Now, Puka Nacua is having a great year, so you can't take him out. Same with A.J. Brown and CeeDee Lamb. So if you're going to take one out, I guess you take out Mike Evans. But again, see what I said about Kevin Dotson? I feel bad because what this gives me the vibes of, it just gives me the vibes of a guy who had a very, very good year. Listen, nothing against Amon-Ra St. Brown. That was it was a legitimate year. It was dope. But the reality of the situation is sometimes there are other guys who are playing better. That's just kind of it. Number 5, Quincy Williams. Let me just speed around these. So number 5 is Quincy Williams. Do I think this one was a snub? No. I think it's the same thing of what happened to Amon-Ra St. Brown and Kevin Dotson. Good year, very good, but other guys unfortunately have been playing better. This one is going to kind of be interesting. But number 4, Josh Allen. I'm sorry, I was just reading. I zoned out a little bit. But nah, so for me, we're talking about Josh Allen. These are the 3 quarterbacks. Tua Tagovailoa, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. I understand the whole, oh my God, he's turning the ball over. But according to Pro Football Focus, he doesn't rank high when it comes to turnover-worthy plays. He tied Brock Purdy with 16. But look at the other 2 guys that he has less turnover-worthy plays. Tua Tagovailoa and Patrick Mahomes. Personally, I don't think Patrick Mahomes deserved to win. Or I'm sorry, be in the Pro Bowl this year. I would have took it out Patrick Mahomes and put in Josh Allen. Number 3, Brandon Ayuk. Again, see what I said about Amon-Ra St. Brown. Great year. Not going to poo-poo him. But unfortunately, guys have been playing better. This is the one that blows my mind. Antoine Winfield Jr. This is what I said earlier about the whole Buda Baker thing. This is a joke, not going to lie. Winfield has 117 tackles, 5 of them for loss. 5 sacks, 7 QB hits, 5 forced fumbles, 4 fumble recoveries, 3 picks, and 12 defended passes. And you went for Buda Baker, who got just standing there. For sure, 110%, this was a snub. And I will never in my life understand it. Never will. Before we get up out of here, there are games happening today. There's 2 games today, and there's obviously the rest of them are going to be on Sunday. So let us get right into it. By the way, just to kind of give everyone a heads up, there will be no Monday night game. Just do not forget that. Do not be me and start trying to find a Monday night game and all that stuff. Don't do that. Don't do that. So the 2 games we have today, one starts at 4:30, Steelers at Ravens. The second one is the 8:15 game, Texans at Colts. Just want to make sure I have it up so that way I can kind of give you guys what I put. All right, so for those, I had Ravens over Steelers and Texans over Colts. Here are the rest of the games. I have Jags over Titans, Lions over Vikings, Saints over Falcons, Patriots over Jets, Bucks over Panthers, Browns over Bengals, Bears over Packers, Cowboys over Commanders, Raiders over Broncos, Eagles over Giants, Seahawks over Cardinals, Rams over Niners, Chiefs over Chargers, and Bills over Dolphins. That Bills and Dolphins game is also the game that I not really but excuse me. That's kind of the game I highly recommend people watch. And the number one reason why I say that is because if Buffalo wins, they win out the division on the tiebreaker. But if Miami wins, they win the division. So this really is for the division. This is for the divisional crown. So it's going to be very, very intriguing. Another game you also would like to watch if you care about the NFC South. Again, that's if you even care about it. If you don't, then this won't kind of matter to you at all. But Buccaneers over Panthers. If the Buccaneers beat the Panthers, they win the division. If they lose somehow, then the winner of the division could be the Saints if the Saints beat the Falcons. Now, if I'm not mistaken, the Falcons can somehow still win, I believe, if the Buccaneers lose and they beat the Saints. Because then, yes, it'll be a 3-way tie with 8 and 9, but I do believe Atlanta has a tiebreaker. So, yes, they do have the tiebreaker. So, if Tampa Bay wins, then they win the division. But if they lose to Carolina, then the winner of the NFC South will be the winner of the Saints and Falcons game. Pretty much every other. I mean, obviously the Cowboys are playing. If the Cowboys beat the Commanders, I believe they pretty much got the division on lock. But if they lose and Philly beats the Giants, then the Eagles win the division. And that's pretty much. I mean, and the NFC South. They're playing Tennessee. I believe if the Jacksonville Jaguars win, they clinch the division. The Colts are playing. If they lose, the Colts are playing the Texans. Yep. So basically, this is kind of the same situation with the NFC South, where if Jacksonville wins, they win the division. If they lose to the Tennessee Titans, then the winner of the Colts and Texans wins the division. Except this one is a little more straightforward because currently the Jags, Colts, and Texans are all 9-7. So this is going to be very, very, very interesting to say the least. But that's been it for me. I know I'll try to join, and he unfortunately had some technical difficulties, so hopefully we'll be able to get him back next week. But ladies and gentlemen, it has been your boy Pride. Thank you for spending some time with me. As always, I will be back here next week to talk more shit about your favorite team. Until then, y'all know what to do. Be safe. The fact that people are saying, oh yeah, when you're finals MVP, you are now the best player on the planet, to me, that makes no sense whatsoever. I don't care if it's a week, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Who do we appreciate? LeBron James. That's who y'all gotta start appreciating. And you gotta stop disrespecting this man.